Welcome to the Tim Runs His Mouth podcast. I'm Tim Young. There's so much stuff going wrong today here, though. I forgot to charge the batteries and the cameras. Why? And again, remember, Al, the problem with the cameras, too. And when we're going to get to everything here in a second, guys. We're going to talk about Adam Schiff. I didn't obviously communicate with Al very well about the graphic. I didn't communicate with her at all.
I showed you the graphic.
I literally sit next to you all day long.
And I showed it to you.
We sit in the same office or in the same like little smoking area all day long. And I can't tell, like, you have to specifically ask things. And even when you do, you need to be like, are you sure? I
did. I showed it to you 3 times.
I'm in outer space. I'm worse than you when you
looked at it. You liked it.
I did. And then I forgot
and then I talked about each element
But you
of
thought
the
that
thumbnail.
the entire show was going to be just K-pop. And I didn't want it to be all K-pop. I wanted to dunk on Adam Schiff.
Well, I didn't even know. I've been so busy
Actually,
today.
I wanted to dunk on congressional Republicans. Not
I didn't even know. I haven't even looked at news of the day today. So I thought we were getting off easy with
We're busy working on books.
With our special K-pop. Don't put teasers out.
Oh. Anyway. So we have a special guest tonight. We have One America's Kara McKinney, because Kara McKinney is a big K-pop geek, and Al and I are like fascinated. We're fascinated with Korean pop music the way that I'm also fascinated about like Mormonism and what else? Scientology.
Very similar.
It's all kind of the same. Like, it's just a weird cultural phenomenon that I want to like cover. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's going to be a really good show tonight. Before we get there, why do I think it's mysterious? Because we don't know what it is. Sorry. If you're a weeb that's here for the first time.
Because it is mysterious. There's a whole lot. So I'll explain this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things within the K-pop space where things, they present themselves very poppy, so to speak, and very light and fun and energetic. And then when you look on the back end, there's some horrific tales of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, of people in there, kind of just being worked to death, sometimes literally, to become a K-pop star. So if you think about all the things that conservatives usually talk about, the dark side of Hollywood and everything like that, we're going to get into the same type of stuff, but with the Korean pop industry.
I want to do, I guess we can show this clip. Kevin McCarthy was asked today, let's get right into this, about Adam Schiff. Kevin McCarthy asked about him. Of course, Adam Schiff, one of the more predominant liars when it comes to Russian collusion. He said he had the absolute evidence behind Russian collusion. He said he actually saw it, he had it, and the Durham report says there was none whatsoever. This was the full DOJ. So now the Republicans are pretending that they're going to do something about it.
Wow.
I want to go ahead and show this clip. You can see I'm just literally pulling it off of Twitter. Did I share the right page? I did. Here we go.
Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan formally requesting special counsel
John Durham. I am not seeing that video.
To appear before Congress to discuss
I'm just seeing your Twitter.
The Durham report. So far.
What the hell? Seriously?
I'm just seeing your Twitter page.
It's the wrong. I like that. So it says sharing screen. I like that I'm using somebody else's work. Here we go. You got it now?
Yes.
Formally requesting special counsel.
Let me get this blown up.
Full screen, please.
Here we go.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan formally requesting special counsel John Durham to appear before Congress to discuss the Durham report. So far, the White House is refusing to comment on that as well. You lived it. You know what went on in terms of the Durham probe and the Russia collusion lie. Will there be accountability here?
There has to be. And Maria, it's not just me who knew. You knew it. And you got criticized for speaking the truth. And that's what's wrong. Is CNN talking about this? Is the White House talking about this?
No.
Listen to what has happened. They took America through an impeachment over a lie that they knew.
Yeah.
You had Adam Schiff, who was chairman of the Intel Committee.
I like that he calls him Adam Schiff.
Lying day after day to the American public that he had proof, that he knew the proof. Now we're finding in the Durham report his own staffer threatened witnesses. I mean, why is this individual still even in Congress, and why does he think he can even run for higher office after what he did? When you look at Hillary Clinton, She created this.
Yeah.
The FBI paid people and knew it was false. This is why we created the weaponization committee when I became speaker.
Yeah.
This is what we knew about. Now we have even more proof about it. Now it's time that people have consequences for their actions, and you've got to clean this up, or this can never happen again.
Yeah.
When you talk about the threat to democracy, this is exactly what we're talking about.
And it
They
divided
threaten
the country.
democracy of the American public.
And
Yes.
it divided the country so much. It's unbelievable that finally we get the Durham report and the mainstream media is blowing it off as if it's no big deal. The media
Yeah, but
also.
Maria, you got attacked for speaking the truth, for even just bringing people up to let them have their own say. That is an attack on democracy.
Yeah.
That they would use every lever to try to silence information coming through the airways. That is wrong in America, especially when we have a First Amendment right. And now we have proof that government utilized themselves for political purposes to try to control who was running this country and going against the American people.
Okay, so that's enough. I will say this. We're going to get rid of this. I don't want to hear him talk. I want to see things get done. Now, he has specifically said that Adam Schiff shouldn't be a member of Congress anymore. Now, your friend from back in the day.
Your screen's still up too.
I am. That's what I'm doing. I'm pulling this up because it should be in. Oh, there you go. I don't give a shit. All right. Anna Paulina has put forward a. When did she start calling herself Anna Paulina Luna?
Whenever she ran for the first time.
Okay.
2 cycles ago.
Your friend Anna Paulina put forward. Sure. Your friend Anna Paulina Luna put forward a resolution that Adam Schiff should be expelled from the House of Representatives. He should. Will that go anywhere? That's the question. Alex Spencer, will that go anywhere?
No.
It won't. We'll see if they even. Do you think they'll
Why
even
not,
vote?
Tim? Tim, why not? Why won't it go anywhere?
Because Republicans, in particular, like dangling a carrot in front of the American people and making it seem like they're doing something when they are not. So that is a thing.
Why would you ever say that, Tim?
Because I don't. I mean, because of history. I don't know. What do you want? What do you want me to say to that?
Because of history.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't put this in podcast tonight. I put this in music and entertainment life in Rumble.
Entertainment life being one category. Entertainment life.
Entertainment life is a second category. By the way.
Entertainment life.
So we have
not just entertainment.
Yeah, it's a whole thing tonight.
Wow.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't think anything's going to get done. And now Hannity has taken Tucker Carlson's place. By the way, he's going to be on the 8:00 hour, so Republicans don't have to stay up as late to go on and
to talk and act like
about
they're doing something.
Yeah, and act like they're doing something, and ask for
Good
money.
for them.
They're going to get to the bottom of it. They're all going to get to the bottom of it. So that is
spend your money, get your wallets ready. Republicans are promising to do something again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm so underwhelmed by the entire thing. Like I'm tired of them. I'm just tired of them.
Well, this is why
This
is why I'm excited to get into more cultural stuff today, because every day this week it's been talk and no motion. I'm all
about. We have enough evidence to do everything, right?
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that was it. Like more so every day. There's stuff that the Republicans have that they can move forward on. Not only are we waiting on one thing, every day new stuff comes out that should be helping us.
That's what's amazing here, right? Is that like, I'm sure people are pretty upset that we're talking about something other than politics and the end of the world again. But honestly, I'm tired of Republicans, all talk Republicans that are doing nothing. What are we going to cover? Honestly, we're going to talk about this again. This is as far as it goes, right? Adam Schiff should not be a member of Congress. I can tweet that. Right, I've tweeted that already. He should be probably in jail for the lies that he said and wasting taxpayer funds, right? So what are you going to do about it? They have a whole laptop full of evidence on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the Biden family. They have all their financial records going through shell corporations, allegedly. So what have they done? Talked about it. Cool. I'm just I'm over it at this point. I'm totally over it at this point. If they're going to impeach, they need to impeach. They need to move forward on it. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Do you think that they're waiting until closer to the election, or do you think that they don't want to move forward because Joe Biden's the best chance at running a Republican and winning.
You don't think Kamala would be Kamala, whatever they feel like calling her today?
Would be. I feel like so many Democrats right now are sick of Biden, and if he is the nominee again, then that could be a positive thing for Republicans.
By the way, here's a clip of Joe Biden today. Let me make sure my volume is up here. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank my buddy Kamala, who I work for up in the White House.
He works for Kamala? How do you say her name, by the way?
Kamala.
And I also want to thank my buddy Kamala, who I work for up in the White House, for leading on this issue.
Camelot Harris.
Kamala. I want to help. I want to Kamala. I don't understand. I think I have another one here. I have lots of clips that I didn't prep you on. All right.
I haven't seen anything from today.
You should probably ask what I downloaded for the. Actually, the easiest way to do this, even though you're sitting directly next to me,
Sure,
is to just look at my Twitter. So that one person looks at my Twitter. As you know, no one sees my Twitter anymore. But here's another good clip.
Everything is in context.
Okay, now here I want you to tell me.
Okay.
What is Kamala trying to say here?
Everything is in context.
Sure.
My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Is she?
What is she trying to say?
A little bit.
She actually always seems drunk to me.
She's got like the shakes. Her voice does have that like.
Alex, you didn't answer the question. You acted.
I'm trying to do what politicians do.
You pulled yeah, I want you to answer the question. I'm going to play this again. I want you to tell me. And if you're in the chat right now, I want you to tell me.
Play along with us.
Brown Ma 321 says short bus graduate, and also says I want whatever she's on. All right, ready? Here we go.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
You exist in the context.
Of what? Falling out of a coconut tree?
Getting dropped on your head. I think it's getting dropped on your head. I think that's what it means. You know how I dropped you on your head when you were a kid? It was like falling out of a coconut tree.
What does that have to do with what she's saying?
Her body keeps moving when she's finished laughing.
She's got the shakes.
She doesn't have the shakes.
Yeah,
I think that she's just like.
What else would it be?
The context.
She has the shakes.
Of all in which you live and what came before you.
Her eyes look like she's blitzed out of her mind.
You think she's drunk or high? This is very much. She reminds me of Veep.
If I were,
we should do a supercut of really bad Veep clips. And
she's not. So here's why she's not like Veep. Every Veep character, like they might do stupid stuff, but they are strong personalities. She is like, she's a shaky person. She's not as firm of an individual. Like her personality, I don't feel like is defined enough to be a Veep character.
Has she ever? Yeah. Has she ever been grilled like in a questioning? Has anybody ever like actually asked her hard questions at any point?
Has she ever done like something where she's not doing that like weird laugh and smile? Like,
no.
Does she have any other mood?
No.
It's like really weird. It's like, as a politician, shouldn't you be able to speak like with some conviction on serious matters without like chuckling and shaking?
Yeah, and when the questions get even more intense, all she does is laugh.
Yeah,
like she cackles
which
louder.
Is weird. That's like there's no connection to that because that's not the proper human response unless you're lying and or nervous.
I'm looking to see if there's like anything. I just like pull videos and then I don't know what I pulled. What is this one? Today, 3:00. All right, you want to roll the dice and see what this other video is?
I'm scared whenever you do that. Why don't you pull it up and then share the screen?
Oh, here we go. Oh. Here's Joe Biden. He's not taking questions, by the way. This is Joe Biden not taking questions. They tell him, they're like, hey, look vigorous.
Look spry.
Look vigorous. Come out and do a
spry.
little bit of a jog here when you come out. Look vigorous. Yes.
That's the run that I do when like somebody like waves me on at a crosswalk and I'm like trying to pretend that I'm running when I'm actually not. Like I'm moving
It's
my
a fake
arms
walk.
more, even though I'm not gaining
doing the
any
fake
speed.
walk.
Yeah, it's the fake run.
Yeah.
The fake run walk across the crosswalk.
Did you do that when you got hit?
No, I was just walking.
Yeah, because he didn't wave you across. He just ran you over.
Because he didn't see me.
That's the walk. Actually, this is the walk that I do. I want to watch a little bit more of this. This is the walk that I do when I think that I had a little bit too wet of a fart, and I'm not sure.
And I say, "You good?" And you go,
I just want to get to the bathroom. This is me. Yeah, this is me. Hold on. This is me. Are you good, Tim? You think you're good? Seriously, if you want to do the Joe Biden walk, this is how you do it. And I'm not even kidding you. And I wish we had a way to like zoom out, but obviously we have no tech here. You clench your butt cheeks as hard as possible and try to walk, and that's what that looks like. I'm curious.
Also,
you should try it.
Can we watch again with his his facial expressions, the decline of his like fake happy, like he looks like right after he gives that thumbs up, he's just like, okay, I gave the thumbs up, that's good enough. Now I can just let the life drain from my face.
Hold on, I want to get the quote in from, and here you go. This is the line. I need to rip this.
The fact that I'm improving myself.
Hold on, this line.
You're not the only one improving yourself. I worked out with a dumbbell yesterday. I feel vigorous.
I just want to have. I feel vigorous. That's no idea.
Look, his smile just fades. Life gone from face.
Life gone from body. What are you talking about? That's a corpse. All right, there he is. He's walking hard. He's like, did you bring the pudding? All right.
Is he stepping up? Like, why is his leg at a right angle? Why did he try to take on like 3 steps at once?
That guy's got problems with steps. All right.
But that is skipping 3 steps at once. That is I just shat myself walk.
Yeah.
When you're like, I don't even have the time for these extra steps.
All right, here's the deal. Our guest has been sitting, listening to us ramble for a bit.
Oh my gosh.
I know
I'm so excited.
Because today, listen, again, in the middle of everything else. Hold on.
I didn't know she was in because I thought I would be able to see it, but I
can't read some of the things that people were saying in the chat on Rumble, but God bless you guys. Thanks for being here. Something about slapping him. I don't want to get too much into it. We're trying to monetize.
I said.
So here's our guest. So here's the deal. We don't know anything about K-pop, but occasionally I go down the rabbit hole and like these videos get suggested to us, right? And what does that look? Why are you smiling?
We know a little bit, I would say. Like we've gone down the rabbit hole enough, but apparently we know normie stuff.
We only know the normie stuff. We don't know the weird
really
stuff.
I don't even know.
And okay, so by the way, if I mention I don't do any illicit drugs. My nose is just going crazy.
Sure, that's what Kamala said.
The weather was half decent for like the one day a year. It's decent here in Dallas, Texas, and so my nose, it's pollen is everywhere.
Pollen.
So all right, so we went to try to find. We were like, we should talk about this, and the person who came up when we dug around was One America host Kara McKinney. So we're gonna bring her in. Oh my God!
Wow. What's happening?
What's happening with the sound? That's really bad. Uh-oh. That sounds like fuzz, dude. I can't hear you.
Like
Hold on.
Robot. You're like
I don't know. You sound like a robot. Have you been hit? Unplug your headphones and plug them back in.
Or maybe they're not plugged in enough.
Oh, that sounded cool. I think that's fixed. Is it fixed? Kara.
No, now it's all gone.
Kara, what's happening? No. What's happening with these headphones?
No.
Is this the One America budget right now? Come on now. I'm like, what's happening? No.
We're a low budget show. We don't do sound checks beforehand, so
you're unmuted on our end. We're just gonna sit here and talk about it until it says. Wow, it's bad, Kara. Kara, I love you, but it's so bad. It's just fun. Can you just use your computer's like standard audio? Just use your computer's standard.
We're not
fancy. Just unplug those. Ooh, that is bad.
This will not reflect squarely on.
I promise it's not
on
fair.
you.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with you. We're low budget here.
Okay.
All right. Woof. Okay.
Back. Kara's
I'm
back.
I'm
You're
okay.
back and blurry. That was just me.
Kara,
What
you're
is
bad
going
luck. What is
on?
happening here? All right, let's try this again. No, but really, what happened there?
The heck?
My
That was the weirdest thing because it definitely was
like it was like
whatever
I can hear
sound
you,
was
Kara. I
coming
hear
through-
you moving around. Talk.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. I don't know
That's
how
better.
that made everything crash on our
I
end.
don't think it was. I don't think
that
it
was
was
just
her.
too unrelated. But because the sound thing was definitely because as soon as she unplugged it, it was
And now
fixed.
you're like, hold on, I'm gonna fix your camera. Something happened. So Kara,
Welcome to
after
our
you
show.
unplugged, yeah, this is what happens here. After you unplugged our entire system, like it was almost like timed, but it wasn't.
I'm sorry. I
No,
feel
it
I
wasn't
don't think
you.
it was new.
It wasn't you at
There's
all.
no way. It was just really weird timing.
It just like everything went up at once. It was so weird.
I
Can
think
you
it's
hear
the
me
Korean
now?
government.
Yeah, yeah. But when your headphones were in, it was like a total buzz. It was just a buzzing sound.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Who
It's okay.
cares? No. Listen, we're like a fledgling podcast,
just glad
a
we can
fledgling
hear you.
show. We're not calling it a podcast.
Yeah.
anymore.
We had
It's
this
a
talk
show.
because everyone has a podcast. And we're
Yeah.
like, we're gonna stop saying
We're gonna
that.
stop saying that. Anyway, we're glad you're here. You are. Let's get it. Let's pretend that none of that happened.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here. Obviously, you host Tipping Point. We see you. We don't have the budget for One America Regular, right? So we
Mhm.
watch One America Plus.
Which is really confusing because you
And
would
so-
think the plus would be the paid for.
The same Christmas episode of you has been playing forever. You look great in it every day. Same outfit.
It just switched over. It's now updated.
Yeah, I think it's pink. Wasn't it pink that she was wearing? I'm not even kidding you. It's the same episode every day.
We've just now caught up to you getting highlights, and they look
Yeah.
very good. Good
Donald
job.
Donald Trump just lost the 2020 election on your show. It's amazing. We're glad that's what we can afford when we get the Pluto TV version of it.
There is a delay. I think on cloud might be like a 2-week delay. Some of the some of the streaming I know because I'll get comments from people saying, "Great episode, but why are you talking about something that happened all these weeks ago?" And I'm like, "No, I promise it's up to date. It's just
But we don't want to shell out. We're on a fixed income, so $5 a month is yikes.
Yeah.
It's tough for us. Even though I just spent $80 on cigar nonsense yesterday. It wasn't even cigars, just junk. Anyway, all right, Kara, here's the deal.
Priorities.
I obviously reached out to you. This K-pop thing that you're an expert in, and you have no shame of this, as no one should be ashamed of being a K-pop fan.
since 08.
Wait, you can
But that
identify
was
the
a
time.
thing? Back in 08?
Yeah, since middle school.
How did you get into it?
Wait, how old are you? 12?
26.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Oh yeah. 08 was a while ago. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just
we're
I
not
just
all
know.
as old as you are, Tim.
Yeah, well, that's true. So what got you into it?
Okay, so fun story. Well, okay, it's not that funny actually. Back in around 08, we at our house we didn't get internet until like around 2007 or so.
Mhm.
So I was in middle school by the time we actually got internet in our house, and we could like Google stuff, go on YouTube on our computer. And my dad, he used my computer to, just look at stuff for baseball. And it was just YouTube in general was just recommending all sorts of videos. And he's like, I don't like that you guys have access to all sorts of bad stuff. And we want to be able to monitor, and they can't monitor all the time. So he's just like, no YouTube whatsoever. And I was crushed because I love music. All I listen to is music 24/7. I'm like a junkie on music. So I was thinking, well, what can I do now? Started looking around, and I found I don't know if it's still up, a website called MuVids. And as I was watching music videos through there, I have no clue what it is. All of a
It's
sudden,
on like
a
4chan. She's on the dark side of the internet digging up music videos. She's like, what is this? Who
Your
knows?
dad's like, I'm gonna ban YouTube, and you're like, there's so much worse
I'm gonna
out
find.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it.
And then it just recommended to me. I think it was Boa. It was Girls on Top by Boa, Best of Asia. And because I'm stupid, I just assumed this has to be Japanese. So I started listening to Japanese music. She's Korean. She does sing in other languages like Japanese, but this one was a Korean song. But I didn't know that at the time. But I started listening to a lot of Japanese music on MuVids. Loved Nami, Nami Umiro, Ayumi Hamasaki, all the rest. And then, but something was still
We have
kind of
no
missing.
idea. By the way, all this is like you're literally
I know,
speaking
I'm
Japanese to us
taking
right now.
notes
Yeah,
down
like we're
here.
like, yeah, like
I tried to learn Japanese at one point, which didn't work out too well. Then I tried Korean. I can read Korean and I like understand basics, but like I'm a Korea-boo, sadly.
all I know in
Wow.
Korean is literally ojigo boko. And when I order, that's spicy squid for those of you. That's what that anyway.
Yeah.
When I order that at the Korean restaurant, and I always talk like this, and then I say ojigo boko. They like look at me like, oh, you know? I'm like, nah, that's the only word I know.
I know the word Blackpink. Play it. We have it.
Yeah, we have it.
This is the one thing we have. We have
That's all we have.
Blackpink in our soundboard.
That's all we have.
That's awesome. I wear Blackpink shirts to work, so.
I put on my Blackpink
By the way,
eyeshadow for today.
Before we go any further, I do want to, and so that people don't think that you're too geeky, I have a problem with, that I have.
Well, don't say that. That implies that they would.
Okay. I really got into that one British pop group. Do you remember? What
Which
pop group?
one?
No, there was one that I was really obsessed with.
Oh, the one that was poster was here.
That's the signed poster that's still over there.
Do you actually forget the name?
No, I know. I was just going to say, do you remember?
Yeah, it's
S Club 7.
S Club 7. I knew it was.
And there's a
7.
picture of me with them at their reunion tour.
This is not K-pop related.
It's
this
not.
Is just
it's not, but it's pop music. But that's as bubblegummy pop as I go. But I am familiar with music that other people might consider terrible. I don't dislike Korean music though.
I think that for me, like the most fascinating thing about like the fan culture with K-pop is that like how many Americans are now so into the Korean culture. Like you said, it like inspired you to go and learn how to read Korean, which is wild. Like there's so many, I think, different fandoms that even if you're super into people, it doesn't inspire that in depth of a response, especially on as massive of a scale. Like it's not like this is some like super niche thing. I'm sure it more was when you got into it that young, but now it's like a worldwide phenomenon. And like I know so many people, like my sister, she took she was in high school like 5 years ago and she took a Korean class as like a study. Doesn't like K-pop or anything, didn't realize that K-pop was a thing. She shows up to this class and everybody's like getting up and introducing to themselves, and it was literally she was the only non-K-pop fan, and they were like, she said there were girls crying because they were so it's a little weird. They were so excited for the opportunity to learn Korean, and so and I don't
even me in high school.
Yeah.
In class.
So where do you think that comes from in the culture? Like, why does this have such a cultural pull that other things don't?
I wonder if it has something to do with in the West that we've denigrated our culture so much. So, I mean, we are obviously raised in a culture in the sense that when we go abroad, people go, oh, those dumb, loud Americans. So we do have a culture. We have a certain way of being and acting, but it doesn't feel like that, especially because we've exported it so much around the world. At this point, it just seems like normal, I guess, the way everyone kind of seems and acts and like culture. And so the way Korea is and the way that they've been able to kind of keep themselves traditional in a sense and kind of bring that in with their food, the way they dress with hanboks and with, language and all this stuff. It's something that like, especially young girls love to grasp onto. There's something with young girls, women in general, we love language and we love being able to, have like different terminologies for things and, language usually evolves through women because we're the ones kind of talking with each other. Girls love fandoms. They love, whether it's Taylor Swift or whoever here in America, but Korea, it's like a whole package. It's language. It's a different language. It's different culture, customs, food and everything. It's like a whole little world that you found. You open up this little world and you're like, I found something. And it's so exciting because it fills maybe a hole that a lot of people feel in their lives. That would be one of my guesses. That's one thing I loved about it. I was taught Korean in obviously I'm not fluent in any way, I'm not trying to claim that, but one of my friends in high school, she was born in Korea, lived in Korea, came to America for high school, and so she taught me a lot of it. So my grandma actually paid her like $30 an hour, which is a lot of money in the school library in high school. And I just loved it. I fell in love. It just, like I said, for me, it was like all my different faculties, smell, taste, vision, and learning and understanding, just the different ways of the world. And even just watching K-pop videos, you start to like pick up on little pieces of the culture. And one thing, the Korean government, I think they kind of subsidize a lot of this because
Really?
What?
They subsidize it?
That's what I've heard. I've heard that. I'd have to look more into it, but I've heard that they subsidize because soft power is so important. Like America, like I was saying earlier, our culture is everywhere, so it just kind of seems normal. You can go anywhere and find American-style food, music, everything, TV shows, whatever, catchphrases, references. So Korea understands the power of that, and so they want to kind of spread it around themselves with TV shows, music, what have you. And I fell for a hook, line, and sinker. Even on my purse, if you guys can see, red velvet. So
I know them. I know some of their songs.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I love them. One of my favorites.
They do Dum Dum.
Yeah. And Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
You got it.
No, I'm just Al. Every time I know like a K-pop song from like a girl group, she's like, "What?" She just looks at me like, "Hey, can we do? I want to do something real quick because you are still fuzzy, Kara. I'm gonna kick you from the studio. Just re-click on that link real quick and come back in. I really want you to sound perfect.
I know.
Like I'm like
That was so
I
insightful. Of an
love
answer.
no, I love this conversation, and I want this to be like when you play this back, when you hear this back, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I sounded like that," because it may be sounding good coming through there. I'm just gonna kick you from the studio and then come right back.
Okay.
Right. Kick guest, and then we'll get her right back.
Kick guest.
Yeah.
Action item, kick guest.
I don't understand
I
what's
don't
going on with her
know
mic, and I hate it because
either.
she's so freaking insightful and good. Like
I
this
know
is
that I
good.
was not expecting that good of an answer to that.
No, she's smart, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That's why we invited her on here. But by the way, so CRW, I don't know, CWR, CDM, who I threw into the chat here. Did you see this line? Asians on our family, they're extremely respectful. They still have a value system, believe in morality. They work hard and study hard. What a concept. We used to be that way. All right, let's try this again, Kara.
Okay. How do I sound?
Well,
It's still a little fuzzy.
What
It's
are you like? Is your headphones? Are you talking into headphones?
No. So the thing is, I've never done podcasts or shows.
that's
anything
fine.
like
It's
this
fine.
before. And I did maybe a few weeks ago, and I thought my headphones and little microphone that would work. It was terrible. They kicked me off the podcast, I guess. So and so then I was shopping around last night, and I was recommended these, and I don't know if these don't.
It sounds like something in like your connection port is like not connecting properly.
That's what
like
it sounds like.
It sounds like you
Maybe
have
it's
like
dirty.
feedback, so it's not you. You sound fine, and we can hear you. The levels are fine. It seems like there's a connection issue between your computer and whatever's plugged into it.
There's like a fuzzy pop on your high end when you come. I don't know if you like talk geek, but it's because I don't know if you heard, you probably didn't hear us when we threw you out, but like you're so good. Like I don't want to lose. I want you to sound good for this. You're fine there.
Yeah, there's some words.
Yeah. Move 20 feet away from your computer and talk very softly, and then we'll get you.
Yeah, I wonder if
just
it's
try.
that,
Just
if
keep
it's the
going. Let's just fight through it. Yeah, are your levels high? Keep talking.
I don't know tech stuff at all.
You're fine.
Wait, that's
right now,
fine.
you're fine. What are you doing? You're fine.
Nothing.
All right, good. Don't
Continue
keep doing
talking.
that.
Okay.
Oh, there it went.
I think it is the volume.
It's the volume. It's the
I
volume.
think it's the.
Where you're coming in. Hold on. I'm going to turn you down a little bit on our end. But I think it's coming through.
Yeah.
I think it's coming through on your end. I think your mic might be really hot. Is there a way to look at your mic settings and see if you can just? Unlike other shows, we don't scream at people when they screw up with their microphone. We don't care.
Brown Mouse says, "Just whisper, LOL."
Yeah, just whisper.
If I move it away, is that better?
I think.
You know what it is? It's definitely your actual connection. It's
Because
not your
when you
headphones.
touch it,
When you
it
touch it,
does
it fuzzes.
Yeah.
Have you been keeping that computer in your purse or something? Is that a laptop that you've had in your purse with dirty stuff?
See, I'm the worst at this. This is my work laptop. I just take it up to film in the studio and do.
I don't know. All right. Well, don't worry about it.
Push
Listen,
through it, but we're
gonna push
sorry
through
in
it.
advance that.
Yeah. And we'll do this again at some point because because you were on like literally. I'm looking at Al while you're giving us a really good answer. I'm like, oh,
I know.
like I want you to. because you're really
I feel so
clippable.
bad. I feel guilty because I don't know. I feel like I'm like,
No.
okay, I got microphones and headphones. I'm like, it should all work.
Let me tell you something. A couple of weeks ago, I don't even know what Al had. She had gunk in her ports, and I had to use one of those like a toothpick kind of thing to like go through and clean out the ports on her computer.
I had a little bead. I had one of those little beads from the
but then there was just
those pouches that keep things fresh.
I continued to clean out the gunk in your computer from that because I'm really anal retentive when it comes to that stuff. So anyway,
so it
whatever.
happens.
All right, so listen.
But
we're
fine with it. We don't care.
So where we left off 20 minutes ago was that this like affects every aspect of culture to the point that the government over there may actually invest in it, and the women are the ones that are pushing most of this culture.
Yeah.
That's wild. And the fact that hold on, so you were to go back a little bit because I cut you off because I'm a jerk. You started by like going to a random website on the internet, and then you're like, this is cool. And then like what's really cool and what really speaks to you as a person is that you were like, not only do you want to like, you're into the music, you're like, I want to learn the language so I know what they're saying and like learn the culture. That's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, it's been a fun, wild ride. And like I said, when I started listening to those videos and they were Japanese, but I didn't know at the time because I feel like I said, I'm the white Korea boo, and it's kind of embarrassing. You know, you walk in and like you don't want to like say the words in the right way because that seems weird, but then you purposely missay them in an Americanized Korean way, and then that sounds weird, and then knowing too much, it seems weird. It's just like so many different levels to it. But yeah, so I was listening to Boa and like some of these other Japanese artists, but then somehow on MuVids it recommended 2NE1, and then that was just done for me. That was real K-pop, and they had G-Dragon was on there, and I just fell in love. I go to K-Con every year in LA, so 5 years running, seen a bunch of. I've gone to Big Bang's concert. I've seen Hyolyn from Sistar live. With just her solo.
Sistar too.
I've seen so many of these groups. I've seen Winter live. I've seen Stray Kids, a bunch.
I am my only real exposure to it. So I'm a big fan of bingsu. I dated a Korean woman for 2.5 years, and I learned what bingsu was, which is snow ice, which is like really like lighter. It's like a big. It's like shaved ice, but it's milk, and then they put like you've had it. Well, but for people
for the
that
audience,
don't know, And a lot of times as part of that dessert, they throw Frosted Flakes on top. Our breakfast cereal is their dessert. They don't care about that part because no, it's a big deal. Our breakfast cereal is their dessert. But usually places that you go to get bingsu are like poppy ridiculous. Like you walk in and like it burns your eyes. It's so bright, and they have everything known to man. And so it's like really fun. And so like I started listening to the music about the 15th time I went to this place, and I'm like, what is going on here? Because you feel happy when you listen to most of it. Is there depressing K-pop music?
There's ballads if you want to cry 2 a.m. I don't know. I don't think they make music anymore, really. But yeah, 2 a.m. They've got good ballads. FT Island makes some good ballads as well. Yeah, there's quite a few if you just need to cry, I guess. I think Hyolyn from one of her older solo albums when she left Sistar, I think she has some good like ballads. She has a really good, strong, deep voice. So yeah, there's that's the fun part of K-pop. It's not just even one genre. K-pop, you could be talking rap, ballads, hip hop. There's Spanish infusion ones, French infusion K-pop songs. It like starts going down to a bunch of different. There's bands. There's a whole electro. There's a whole world of subgenres too, and that's fun because every time when you start to like a band, it's usually groups. It's not usually solo singers, but they have concepts that they release, and so there's different types of concepts that K-pop fandoms start to kind of realize. There's different patterns, and then so you get excited for the comeback. Sometimes they can have 2 or 3 comebacks with the concept. They have the whole deal, the whole package, new music, new themes, new everything. It's like a whole little world every time. So, but like I said, there's a lot of different types of music that goes with K-pop. It's not just one style necessarily. So like Red Velvet, for example, you have Red, which is their more mature music, and then you have Velvet, which is their Red is the fun poppy side of them, and then Velvet's their more mature sound. So they have 2 different modes, and so fans are excited every time they're making a comeback. Oh, which was it going to be? So it's like I said, it's a whole little world every time, and it's just so exciting.
I want to hear more about what was the convention that you said?
K-Con.
K-Con or K-Pop Con?
Yeah.
K-Con.
We should go to that.
You guys have to go. It's great. It's fantastic. They have them New York City, LA. I go to the LA one. It's around the world also. It's so much fun. You get to go, and they have 2 nights of concert, Saturday and Sunday night. It's like 3 or 4 hours. You see a bunch of different groups. They play games. It's fan activities. And then when you go across to Staples Center, which I know it's crypto, it's something else now, but I still call it
Crypto.com
Staples
Center.
Yeah. And like next to it is the convention area, and you go inside, and once you're in there, you hear screaming, you look, and WJSN, they're running over here. You hear screaming, then it's NMix over there, and you're just running back and forth, and they're right there. But then I guess that gets to one of my issues with K-pop. Lots of objectifying. They objectify the idols where everyone's a package. Everyone's sterile. You're not, most of these companies are not allowed to date. Hyuna from Cube was dating Edon, he's like 2 years younger. He was in another group with them. You have 4 Minute, and then you had his group, Pentagon, I think. They start dating. People found out, they get kicked out. And these are people who are very famous. So they're very strict on no dating. Oftentimes, a lot of these companies are very strict on style. You gain like 5 pounds and people will be ruthless about the way you look. And yet these girls if they stood next to me, I'd look like a whale. And yet they're being targeted for being too fat or something. Yeah. And so they have a very strict package on how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to behave, and it's almost like they're an object to be sold. And so when you go to KCON, one thing I didn't like is that a lot of these kids are so young, because a lot of times now it's minors who are debuting, 15, sometimes 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and now they're at KCON wearing booty shorts, a crop top, and they're supposed to look 100% perfect at all times, not eating, not sleeping, and then you have older adults. Sometimes it's young people like me, but a lot of times it's old men, and they're with their camera staring at this girl who's from them. Pure objective. That's my one issue, or one of my issues, I would say, with the industry. It's next level objectifying.
Well, what I want to get into, like, the whole concept of, like, number one, they're called idols, the people who are participate. But like that whole system, don't they all like live together and they train together? And it was like, it's like incredibly restrictive. You kind of touched on it.
Competitive, right? Like these people probably, not even the ones that are just famous, but the ones that have to change everything up and sacrifice so much and be kind of in these probably very unsafe environments at times in order for like a hopes to make it.
Yeah, that is an issue. A lot of the companies, they do have them live in barracks. And sometimes when you hear some older K-pop idols who've left the system, they make like no money. They're talking about like riding the subway with their last like $2 to make it to dance class or to make it to a show. And then sometimes at these shows, like I love watching NBC K-pop or these Mnet Live, and sometimes they're performing their new songs 3 times a week on these television shows. And from what I've heard, at least, is sometimes they're working like long hours, 12, 16-hour days, and then coming home to barrack-like conditions where they're living together. Oftentimes, again, it differs on companies and what time area you're looking at, but and then being paid almost nothing, and then they're expecting you to sell your body all the time. There was one group, I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head. It was, I wish I could remember. Maybe I'll Google in a second. But there was this one girl group I used to love back in 2014. They debuted. Their first debut song was super famous, and then they were in a serious car accident. I think their manager had fallen asleep at the wheel. 2 of the girls died. It was a 5-member girl band. 2 of the members died. 3 of the others survived but had serious injuries. And a lot of it's just because they were being pushed so hard, not eating, not sleeping. Even the manager was affected, crashes. And then we've had a lot of suicides in K-pop. A lot of young people in their 20s, from SHINee, Jonghyun, he took his own life slowly from FX. Guhara from Kara, Kara, another K-pop girl group. And it's just so much stress. It's so much. But then I think maybe that goes back to Korean culture in general. Suicide is massive in East Asia, Korea, Japan. A lot of it, careerism, having 1 or 2 kids maybe in a family, so everything falls onto your shoulders to take care of your family members, and then working long hours because everyone's working long hours. Everyone's going to school all day long. You hear about how their schooling is. Someone who's in school here in America 6 hours a day, I'm tired. This is too stressful. But then you hear in Korea, it's like all day. And then there's the after school activities. You get home at 10 or 11 o'clock at night and you're up at 6 or 7 the next day doing it all over again. So when everyone's go, 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 the K-pop industry is go, 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 go. And then sadly, you've seen the suicides and the rest that's followed from that.
Here, I've got it pulled up. It is Ladies Code was the name of the group.
Ladies Code, yes. It was, yeah.
That's so sad.
And then they
They
showed back up as a trio.
Oh, they did show back up as a trio?
Yeah, they didn't stop working.
Yeah, no, yeah. Same thing with SHINee. They had to come back after Jonghyun unfortunately passed away, and they had like a fox or something that was kind of supposed to evoke his memory. But yeah, it was get back out there, keep singing, you take his lines, and just the show keeps going. And it's, yeah, one thing I've noticed in America, we talk about a lot of celebrities and they put off, say, having kids or getting married. And you do see that even a lot of these women like Rihanna into their 30s, then they maybe will still have kids. K-pop, you rarely see that. There was one girl group that was composed of moms, of girls who had been in K-pop groups and they're younger, like Wonder Girls and the rest. They came together and they made their own little mom's idol group, and that was fun. But it seems like for a lot of these girls, even to their 30s, to keep the figure and to keep that go, go, go lifestyle, marriage and kids can't factor into that. Same thing with the men. Even when they marry and have kids, a lot of them, they kind of leave the limelight too. So it really does preclude, even more than our pop culture does, family.
Yeah, it's wild. And I mean, it's interesting, right? Because like, again, they're trying to kind of show like morals and values in Korea, but they are like kind of the pit of some of the worst side of entertainment, I guess, when it comes to this stuff. That's when I thought. So I watched James Corden. One of the last things he did was carpool karaoke with Blackpink. And they look like their waists are like the size of my wrist. Like they look unhealthily small. And I'm sure that the pressure on a lot of these women over there, like, I mean, I get being in shape, right? When your job is to like sing and dance for a living, like you probably will naturally be in shape and you want to work out and keep that up. But like they look malnourished. Like a lot of these women are they literally just like, when they live in those barracks, are they literally fed like prisoners? Like, do they come around and just kind of like say like, this is what you get?
When you see, if you go online, you can find like eat like IU for a week and you'll see what she eats, and it's like
I need to do
water and banana for breakfast, a sweet potato for lunch, maybe a little protein shake for dinner, and you're supposed to be working out all day.
Right.
It's a huge emphasis on, I think it was called the ant waist at one time, where your waist looks like an ant, or where you can hold up a piece of paper, and if you hold it up to your waist, your stomach was supposed to cut into where like the white paper is, so it's like thinner than the white paper. Guhara had that, one of those who unfortunately committed suicide from the girl group Kara. But there was this one girl, I'm trying the group, it was Kristen. There was one girl, she's from North America, she's part of the girl group Kristen. She's very thin, she's very normal, and yet she just was blasted online as being fat. And it's an extreme. But then you had Shindong and Super Junior, and his whole shtick was he was supposed to be overweight, and that was diversity for Super Junior. But yeah, it's not. I was gonna make a joke about the disparity, but no, men get that too in K-pop. The men, if you see the men, if they take off their shirts, which they rarely do, but sometimes they are beyond malnourished. You hear horror stories of K-pop artists before going on stage having to have IVs because they're passing out and they don't have nutrients. It gets to that kind of level where they're needing to be hospitalized because they're not eating and they're still going out on stage.
That's like why that's like abusive. Right. But they sign up for, I mean, once they're into the system, like, is it like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but like, can you like get out of the system? Like if you want to just quit your K-pop, can you do that? Or are you want to like lock down a crazy contract that like your family will like lose their house?
There are contracts, yes. So I do know that money becomes an issue. If you get out of your contract early, they might expect you to pay a certain amount. What I hear, I think it's more the idea if you get out, then everything you've worked for, everything you've sacrificed up until now will be for naught. The idea is who else is going to hire you for this? You're just going to now work a quote unquote regular job.
Right.
So if a lot of these girls, when I was younger, you had 2NE1, they debuted around 0809 in that area. And at the time, they had Minzy, and she was the McKinney. She was the youngest. She was a minor at the time, and that was kind of rare. They had to change how they dressed and how they acted so that they wouldn't affect the fact that they have a minor. Now a lot of these girl groups like New Jeans, I love New Jeans, and yet at the same time, I think they're all minors. They're all like 14, 15, 16. And so if you're that young and you finally get into the industry, you've probably been in it since you were a kid.
Right.
And so the idea of just giving it all up, I feel like that almost is untenable. So I think maybe that's what pushes so many to just bear with it for as long as possible, because the industry is ruthless. And like I said earlier, the objectifying, it's this idea of forever youth. So you've got to kind of keep in that bubble, or else it all blows up in your face. There's always going to be someone younger and prettier who will be right there to take your place. And I think that maybe scares them more than anything.
And so what happens when these people, the ones who do stick with it, they go on to have very successful careers, or, maybe they're like, the B list of K-pop even, but when they get kind of done with these contracts, and is there ever a positive situation? Like, do people retire and they have like all of this money that they've made, and they're able to then, like when we have celebrities, there are celebrities in Hollywood, that they haven't worked in 15 years and they're still, A-list celebrities. Does that happen in this industry, or is it kind of just like you do it as long as you can, and then when your time's up, everybody goes back to normal?
That's a good point, because obviously there's the legacy stars. There are a few who make it and like they just have long-lasting fame. One of my favorites is G-Dragon. I think he still has a lot of money and fame, even though he hasn't really put out new music in a while. I know Big Bang, they put out a new song maybe within the last few months, but it wasn't one that they really did all the stages for. But he's someone who's kept his fame, like you were saying. But for many, I don't think so. I think that's also the scary part, is you sacrifice so much, but there's so many groups. Like, if I was to sit here and list them all, we'd be here all day, because there's so many.
You've
groups.
already listed so many that
I
like
know.
I'm like, how do you even like catalog this in your brain?
Yeah, and so many of these groups have 5 to 7 members is usually the normal amount.
Right.
Sometimes they have 10 to 13 members. And so there's so many. So they all can't be famous and all have long-lasting legacy. So you go on YouTube and you find like a lot of these girls, a lot of these guys, and they just kind of retire, quote unquote, into maybe making some YouTube videos, but just mostly going back to normal life. That one girl I mentioned from Princeton, the one who was called fat, I think her name was Kyla. Like I said, very pretty, very thin, but she was outed as being fat, and they called her horrible names. People took pictures of her because I think in Canada or somewhere in North America where she lives, she was working a carnival after Princeton disbanded, doing regular young people jobs, just going back to normal. So there's probably just the fact that there's just so many that they can't all keep that. And so if you don't find your niche, your shtick, what makes you stand out from the rest, after a few years, you're just back to just square one, I guess.
And if you're one of these people that like we were talking about earlier, how people have died while they're in groups, people have killed themselves while their groups are active. And I know that you were saying that one of the groups had a fox or an imagery that kind of represented that person. What's the norm when they move forward? Is there ever like, does the community do they focus on that in kind of a time of mourning? Do they advertise that, or do they try to keep the image of everything's good all of the time and we're not touching on this?
I think the companies, it seems like they, at least from what I've seen, like I said, the girl group Kara, FX, and the boy group Shiny are the main 3 that I can think of where in recent years they've had a member commit suicide. And I can't think off the top of my head, and I'm always listening to K-pop. I'm always in that world. And yet you're right. I don't think I've ever seen SM Entertainment or the others have, like, for example, their picture black and white in memory of so-and-so. It's more that the group just moves on. The fandom remembers, and of course they'll talk about it, but it seems like the companies just go, okay, now we have less members, and just keep moving forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because of how kind of templated, it is like that with how the company interacts. I think that's like, I've been parts of different fandoms and stuff. And I think that, with more of like literature and TV and film and all that stuff, I think that, the part that fans like to have is they like to hear their input taken on certain things. And I don't know how this fandom operates, but it kind of seems like there's a bit of a disconnect between how these companies operate and the fandom culture, almost to like an extremity. What is the fandom perspective on all this? Is this stuff that often gets covered? Is this stuff that, there are moral qualms within the community about supporting groups like this when this is how they operate? Or is it kind of just maintained as an enjoyable experience?
Yes and no. It seems to me that a lot of these fandoms, because each group has their own fandom. So when I was younger, Big Bang was my favorite group. So I was a VIP, and that was our fandom name.
I've never even
21
heard
was-
that.
Yeah,
I've never been a
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory fan.
So they all have their, different ones. I think because there's also a high turnover in fans also, what I've noticed is the fans are just perpetually always very young. People
Right.
like me usually kind of start to grow out of it. So maybe that's why there's not as much pressure on the companies, because someone like me who was there in 2017 when Jong Hyun passed away, maybe they're not really in it as much as say the new 14, 15, 16-year-olds. They don't really know. They've heard stuff in the chats about, oh, this one member, but they don't know enough to really care. They weren't maybe really there. And so it's just always maybe with the fast overturning, I guess, of fandoms that I haven't seen really a lot of pressure. Sometimes you'll just see the TikTok video of company exposed, but like it doesn't stop anyone from buying the light sticks and the albums and going to the concerts. So there's really never any real pressure on treat these people like people, because maybe a lot of fans treat them like objects too, even if they say, no, I love so and so, but they only love them as the image they see and not as the person. Big overlap with the K-pop. That's the funny thing. If you go to LA like I have for these concerts, me and my sister sometimes have gone, and you're looking around, where is it? Where's the address? And you look and you start to see, maybe I shouldn't say this, but freaks and weirdos.
That's fine. We
had WeebCon down the street from us recently. By the way, before we go forward, I need to correct Alex Spencer for a second.
What?
She was a Big Bang fan, not a Big Bang Theory fan.
I literally
that is a K-pop
have never
group.
known anyone that's
No, Kara McKinney is not a Big Bang Theory fan. Do not discredit her.
I'm so sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
I'm so
Corrections.
sorry.
Live
I thought
corrections.
we were going, and since I had mentioned TV shows and stuff, I thought maybe you were like making a comparison.
Show the woman some respect. Jeez.
Sorry to ask so many questions and jump in here so much, but I'm fascinated by this. Because of that, because of the way that fans are seeing them as not really a sense of self. I think that the way that these icons are marketed and put out to fans and how the companies treat them, and probably how it probably reflects on how they see themselves as well. So much I feel like of American and Western culture when it comes to entertainment, movies, TV stars, all of those people, we require depth. Like there are people, like it doesn't matter how good of an actor or a singer you are. Like most Taylor Swift fans, they like her for her personality. I feel like you in America and in England and other places that have more of the mainstream entertainment sphere, it's the exact opposite, where we need our people to have personality. We want to feel like we're connecting with them. And so it's interesting how different that is in the K-pop space, because it seems like it's the exact opposite, where that's not really a thing at all. Do you ever have like a K-pop star that, they you don't see them for a while and they come out and they say something, they pull like a Meghan Markle and are like, I never got to be myself. Like, do any of these people ever come out and like, share that they had some suppressed sense of self, or is it so ingrained in them to be an image that never comes out?
You don't see it as much. So in the K-pop industry, it's obviously the cookie cutter. If you have to be really good at singing, dancing, looking good, being able to act to a certain degree. And so you have the cookie cutter image where everything about you is highly stylized by a team behind the scenes, your branding, your logo, the kind of music, how you sing, how you dance, how you act. All that is, you have to play that character 24/7 in a sense, and it's prepackaged. What fans do like is now they do a lot of V lives now. And so that's where some of the human touch starts to come in, where a lot of these singers will, go on live and they'll talk and they'll, maybe show parts of their personality. Variety shows have always been big in Korea, and so it kind of shows the personality, but also some of it is a little canned. I guess in my opinion, kind of like the slapstick comedy, and there's very specific boxes on how to be and how to be funny. So I'm I'm not quite sure breaking through on that wall as much. And what was the second part of your question again?
I think just like, is there any people who, come out and
That's right.
share more personality after, kind of they're out of their heyday?
I've seen a few, but it's doesn't get a lot of attention. One I'm thinking of is Alex from Rania. She was the first Black K-pop star, and so she was put in this girl group Rania, and she was not treated very well because she was just, I guess the token or whatever. See, we're the first K-pop girl group with a Black member. But then she was talking about how the managers would play games with her so that she could never dance with the other girls. So they could always have an excuse to say, oh, you don't know the choreography. You can't be on stage with them. You can just stand in the corner, do your rap part, and then just get off the stage. And she started to realize, like, oh, they're just using me. They're using me for marketing. They don't actually care about me. She's done a podcast on it. But sometimes when you hear it's just more that you see a small little YouTube. It doesn't get, I don't know, at least in my opinion, doesn't get the huge backing or the huge attention that you think like, oh, expose the industry from an industry insider, 1 million views. It kind of just goes away, and that's sad. You see some of them will do maybe podcasts here and there about talking about their time, but like I said, it just doesn't get the same attention. And there's a lot of groups where unfairly a member will get cut. You'll have a group member where a bullying scandal comes out about their past, someone saying they did XYZ in middle school, and then they just get cut. They lose everything. And then sometimes they are able to find a new company, but a lot of times you just never hear from them again. It's like they fall off the map. So there definitely is that issue as well that, I don't know, the fandom, like the attention span is kind of short. They go, oh, you're gone? That's so sad. Make a stink about it for a week, and then they're over it.
I want to shift topics really quickly here because we're running out of time because we're at the end of the hour, and I for some reason just keep this. We can go as long as we want.
We'll do another one.
We actually need to do. We're going to fix this mic issue, and I think it's actually StreamYard that's screwed up. I think that's really what the problem is because I have. Like, I don't know if you can see in my glasses reflections of what I've been doing. I've been speed testing the entire time, and I'm like texting Alan. I'm like, this is not
in the text.
I'm like losing my mind because like I wanted to make sure that our stuff was up to. I think we're going to use another streaming platform.
And we have been super excited about this. And I'll say this. I don't know if you we have the chats pulled up of the different platforms, which is. Even with all of the technical issues, you have explained this in a way that is so compelling that everybody in the chat is saying, she seems so cool. We really like her. And
don't look at the YouTube. Look at the Rumble. The Rumble's where the people are. Yeah, YouTube is building. Everybody should click like on the. We know that you all have YouTube. Just go click on the YouTube, and then we're gonna get But right now, because I had my comedy special on Rumble the other day, we have a bunch more followers there, so it's a really good time. That being said, I want to ask you a question. A lot of people were asking about your social media. And I'm going to share screen here. Hold on. You need to explain your screen name.
Yeah.
Nefertari?
Yes.
I wanted it to be Nefertiti. 25 is just because it's just a family number that we use for good luck. But I wanted it to be Nefertiti because growing up, I wanted to be an Egyptologist. So growing up, I cut myself out completely from all things. And I love America. That's like my whole shtick. I'm a conservative, right? But all things American pop culture, everything, I cut it off. I don't watch movies. Ask me about a movie, I have no clue. Haven't watched it. TV shows, don't know. American music, don't listen to it. Since since middle school. Since then, what fills the gap is history, learning languages, politics, God. Well, God's number one. Then the rest come. So,
come on.
You didn't list them first, though. You didn't list them first, so.
Well, so I always wanted to be an Egyptologist growing up. That was like my big thing. My whole room still looks like a museum. It looks like an Egyptian museum. Actually, there's statues. You have the papaya. Yeah, you got it. I have.
Can we do the next time we do this for real? The next time we do this, because we're going to do it again when and we continue to build our audience, so there'll be more people watching and stuff too. Can we do it from your place and see your room with your stuff? Like, do you have your?
Sorry if that sounds really creepy.
I'm in my office right now, below the studio, but I have no connection at home. It's really bad. If people try and call me, they're like, "What? Hello? Can't hear you." I can try. It'd be fun.
You need to you need to get paid more money, or like take pictures and then bring it, and we can just share the pictures of what you want to show of your stuff. That's probably easier to do. That's the better way. Yeah, because we don't need creeps We don't need like K-pop fan creeps, old men with cameras watching
Yeah,
this
like
while you go
you
around
don't
your
need to
room.
show her bedroom.
Yeah, sorry.
Just
Like,
take photos
sorry.
of the walls.
I saw Al's face when I asked that, but
I was
my
like, I should
automatic
hop in and
but
ask,
my
so you
automatic
don't.
is like, so before you moved in, Al, my room had a ton of like, what's now our room had a ton of junk all over it.
Did it? When I moved in, it was pretty bare.
Oh no, the bourbon room did.
Oh,
I mean, usually I had a bunch of stuff in my room though.
really?
Yeah, all the stuff I buy, I usually have piles. I hoard it in there.
Oh, now it's all in a garage.
And then and it's here, and then it's like around us. But like, yeah.
He told me that I shouldn't take photos because we smoke cigars out in our garage, and he told me that I shouldn't take photos where you can see how like much of hoarders we are in the background. And I'm like, well, like literally, like I'm not going to be able to take photos in our house at all.
But our house is cool. We got cool stuff.
But
here.
you're gone now. Why are you gone?
I don't know.
Are you gone on your end?
Our browser's lost. Is it? I don't
Is it
understand.
the
what's
wires?
happening.
Do we need new wires?
No, it's not. It's not.
What's happening?
I don't
I'm so
know.
sad about this.
What was that Did you hear the rumbling noise too?
That one? Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Dude, we're getting rid of StreamYard. Anyway, that's what you've taught us, Kara, tonight. We've learned that we're getting rid of StreamYard. So if anybody wants to go follow her, it's Nefertari_25. I want to do this again when we get our shit together. Like, honestly, we've never had problems until we literally brought you in. It's not you.
I'm the problem.
You're not the problem.
It was so good.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad that you were here. What'd you say?
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Thank you for being here. We've been super excited. Like we've teased this specific episode for so long because whenever we do like a random Blackpink reference in the soundboard, we always we're like,
show.
Get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when we first mentioned it, I was like, we need to find somebody, and you were the first name that came out. But listen, I'm actually just really intrigued. I really like you as a person now. Like the more that like getting to know you here and like your fandom there, but then like the Egyptologist stuff and like all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
Like we don't get that from Tipping Point. Do you do history stuff there too? Don't you do history segments or something?
Yeah, every night. Every night.
But we don't get we only have some of their stuff. We have a limited scope.
Need to get those boys to give you some budget to go over to like Egypt and play around and do a documentary or something.
I want to do for just around the holidays, do like a whole hour long going to an historical location, talking to the park rangers there or whoever, and just putting together an hour of that. I think that'd be great. But
and we need content like that. As much as I love being in studio and doing stuff, like we're expanding our stuff too. Like I have a million other plans that we're working on, but like that's the kind of content that I think conservatism needs too, is stuff where people are out in the field and not knocking the normal show where you're talking to people all day long, but like getting out and doing something different and having things that are more like just unique.
And also, I think that why this is intriguing of a topic and why you hit the nail on the head right away with your first answer is that it's so fascinating to see how people on a mass scale react to different things in culture and why things work. And I think when we talk about the culture war, that's something that we need to be constantly analyzing and not just looking within the political sphere, but looking at how that's the fandom culture and how different things in pop culture engage people and why that's essential to understanding and to moving forward. So there's so many things that you mentioned throughout this conversation that overlaps with a lot of the issues that we have with American culture. And so that was very fascinating.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
We like you. So
we're fans.
Well, we're gonna figure out exactly what happened tonight. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna build our audience more, and then we're gonna bring you back a little bit more and get this going. Thanks, Kara McKinney again. Everybody can go follow her, Nefertari_25, but of course on One America every single day, right?
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
See you soon. Bye. Guys, you've been watching the No Things Considered podcast.
No, you haven't.
Oh my God, Tim runs his mouth. I'm just fuck me. There we go. Tim runs his mouth podcast. Yeah, there you go. All right.
I'm ready to get off and listen to you yell about
Scream
this
about
for a while.
This. Yeah, Tara, stay there for a second. You're in the group chat. We're gonna close this broadcast and we're gonna talk to you in a second here.